So we'll go ahead with next topic. So that is stored procedures. Okay. So this is the one kind of important topic that is introduced in database. Okay. So normally what used to happen is, suppose I have written as created one database and written some application. Okay. So that application, something more intelligence will be there compared to our database. Okay. So what database will be having some kind of information only. Okay, so intelligence in the sense, in the application point of view, you can write some looping kind of things. Okay, some calculations. Okay, something you want to modify it. Okay, so some information you want to modify it, some calculations you want to do it. So those all things are there in application language only. That is something. But you can write one arithmetic operation and you can put the loop for that. Okay, so automatically some variables will take it and it will upgrade some part of your data inside a variable. Okay, so those kind of things are there. So this kind of intelligence is not there in actual database. Okay, so suppose if we want to perform some operation on some particular column, okay, or some particular rows. Okay, so your time what has to do is, so from the database you have to bring the actually your data to the application. That is from the front end side, whatever you are running it for that application process, it has to come. Okay, so then that manipulation has to happen, and again you have to keep it back at keep that back to the database only. Okay, so suppose for all employees I want to give as a 10% hike. Okay, suppose 10,000 employees are there. So what we have to do is 10,000 entries I have to bring it from the database to the my application process. Okay, so in my process space, whatever will be there. Okay, so in process space you will be having the 10,000 entries. So for that you will calculate the hike, 10% hike you will calculate it. Then that whatever modified salary or content is there, so that again you have to keep it back to the database. So from process space to again backend information database, you have to transfer the entire that much memory of data. Then automatically it will you have to override the previous one. Okay, so then you have to keep it. So what is happening is transfer from backend to the front end. This is happening twice. Okay, once you will read it. Okay, once you will write it again. First time you will read it, then you will manipulate it. Okay, then second time you will write it. Okay, so total twice communication is happening between the backend server to the actual application process memory. Okay, so twice this thing is happening. Then on top of that, your updation part also, okay, it's taking too much time, and simply you are wasting your process memory also to keep that much larger amount of information in our RAM. Okay, so to avoid this one, what they added is, in database only they added something little bit intelligence. Okay, that intelligence is nothing but, so how we can write the some calculation part. Yeah, I can add as a if condition also. Okay, so some looping conditions. Okay, so I can perform some small amount of task in the backend only, in the database only. So no need to transfer that entire memory to the application. Okay, so then modify, then again write it back. So this much time will save it. Okay, and it will increase our efficiency also. Okay, so that intelligence part is added in database. So for that we are saying as a stored procedure. Okay. Hope you got what is the point of this arriving for the stored procedure. Okay, so this entire information transfer of data was overhead for the database management. Okay, so this is whoever was managing for those people also. Okay, so to avoid those things, what they did is they introduced one new concept, that is a stored procedure. So what it will do is, some kind of little bit intelligence will give into the database only. Okay, so here what is there is, stored procedure is nothing but one kind of functions or a procedure will write it. Okay, so whatever you will write it, that you can call it. Okay, later, like in C functions, whatever will be there, so you have to define the function. So whenever you will require, you will call it. Okay, so whenever you will require, you will call means that time actually that function content, whatever is there, function definition, what all the statements are there, those all statements will be executed. Okay, so that time operation will be performed. So now we'll see how to create this stored procedure. Okay, there is nothing but a kind of function definition you want to write it in C. Okay, so in C, whatever was there, function definition was there. Like that, here stored procedure is nothing but something you want to create it and keep it. So whenever you will call, so that time only actually your content will be executed. Okay, so here, so this is create procedure. Okay, then some name you can give it, then some arguments you can pass. Okay, so here some different kind of variables you can pass the content to the backend. Okay, this arguments is nothing but content application to the backend or database you can pass it. Some then by taking this one, what all operations you want to perform it, that is nothing but SQL query. So then you can write it as the SQL query, what all things you want to do it. Okay, so here we'll see one example. Okay, so before going for that example, this what is this argument is nothing but here you have three kind of things. Okay, so that argument, it can be in, it can be out, or it can be in out. Okay, so only in is nothing but this procedure is receiving it, out is nothing but only it's sending the data, in out is nothing but in that variable you can receive also, you can send the information also. Okay, so all three kind of things it can do it. Okay, so you can while giving here argument list, you can give as a, it may be in or out or in out, any three combination you can give it. Then along here what you can do is variable name you can give, then that data type. Okay, like in C you used to give, so there is a data type then variable name. Same thing here, first variable name then data type will give it. So before that you have to mention as a in out or in out. Okay, those things you have to mention it. So here we'll see one example, increment salary for all the employees. Okay, so what we are doing is here we are writing a one stored procedure, that is a create procedure increment, and this is the name we are giving it. Okay, inc underscore to all. Okay, increment to all. So what it will do is, this is nothing but it's a one definition you are writing it. Okay, so this is a one kind of definition. What all those statements are, these two statements is taking. If you saw here, we're not taking any input here. Okay, so the stored procedure is not taking any input, so completely we avoided this argument part. Then what we are doing is just we are updating the employee salary. So that is a update command we are writing it. Okay, so here you can write actually some larger part also. This initial one example will take smaller one, and you can see the in lab programs we are writing the larger stored procedures. Okay, so here what we are doing is just we are updating the employee salary, that is a update employee, that set salary equal to whatever previous one was there, 10% hike. Okay, so 1.1 into previous salary, so that we are doing as a, it will give the 10% hike. Okay, so one more example we'll see. So here for a particular employee, specific employee, what we want to do is just increment his salary. Okay, so whatever amount will come, that amount you want to add it to the his salary. Okay, so that much hike he got it like. Okay, so this is a second one. So here it's taking the input. Okay, so the what is the input is nothing but that employees SSN he is taking. Okay, so we're taking the stored procedure employee SSN we are taking, then how much you have to give the hike, that amount also we are taking it. So here two variables, that is ESSN and sal. Okay, so two variables are there, so that is varchar and float, two types you are taking it. Okay, then here while updating, just we are putting on condition also, where SSN equal to ESSN, whatever I received for this SSN I have to modify it. Okay, and salary, what I have to do is previous salary whatever was there, okay, plus whatever new one I got it, these two addition together I have to modify the salary. Okay, so like this we can write the procedure. Okay, and some systems they give specific to the their languages only, front end languages whatever is there, little bit difference they will create it. There is a, sometimes you may have a, some jar file. Okay, so that jar file only directly you can consider as a maybe a stored procedure kind of things. Okay, so you have to give the link, so where that jar file is there, in that jar file actual contents are there. Okay, so there is nothing but actual content in the sense actual like statements like this, whatever SQL statements are there in that jar file it's defined. Okay, so here what we are doing is create stored there in Java, how it will be created, that we will see it. Okay, so again you have as a create procedure, then name, then argument will be there, then language is defined. Okay, so here we are saying is a language, then Java we are giving it. Here you can give as a this C sharp or Java, both are supported same way. Okay, both are supporting same way. C sharp, there is a .NET kind of thing, .NET or Java, anything you can use it. Then here we are saying is a external name. Okay, so here one file name you are giving it. Okay, so it is a exact file name where jar file is stored. In this jar file actually you have the content. Okay, there is nothing but like this here, whatever is that 3 line we written, it may be 100 number of lines of your operation, whatever you want to perform it. Okay, that is intelligence completely. So that we written in one file, this file. So that file name we given it here. Okay, so automatically whenever you will call here, whatever function you will call it, so automatically what it will do is this content in this file, whatever content is there, those all statements will be executed. Okay, so that is a by default thing, we will do it. So okay. So here how we'll call it. Okay, so this is till now whatever we saw how we can define the stored procedure. Now we'll see how we can call it. Okay, so here we have as a call procedure name, then argument. Okay, so whatever after procedure name and argument, if you are passing it, those things you have to give it or you can leave it. So for example, so here directly I can give as a inc underscore to underscore all. If I given only this much, so automatically it will call the stored procedure, this entire stored procedure it will be called. Okay, so here we are passing 2 arguments, so ESSN and SAL I have to pass it, 2 arguments. Okay, so like C programming, whatever you written, so same thing, or any programming language you written, same thing. Okay, so before this one you have to give as a keyword, that is a call. Okay, okay. And here argument, whatever you are passing it, those are the argument is nothing but in front end language, whatever variables you defined. Okay, those things you have to give it. Okay, so here one example we have. Okay, so in Java how it will be called, think already you studied about this one also in Java. So this normally callable statement will be there. So one variable will name will you. So this con is nothing but it's a for a connection of front end to the back end. Okay, connect, I think you people are used to it. Okay, so connect dot normally it will be there as a prepare a statement you was there. I think some people you return it prepare statement. Okay, so now actually we don't want to prepare any statement, we want to call the directly stored procedure. Okay, so what we'll do is a prepare call. Okay, so here in bracket this is syntax. Okay, this is a front end syntax. Okay, so here what we are doing is call, then stored procedure name we are giving it. Okay, if it has any parameter, so in that time parameter list will give it, otherwise we'll just call the stored procedure name. Okay, then when we will execute this one, this is a we prepare the statement. So then after that you have to execute it, and that is nothing but so whatever variable name is there, this variable name dot execute query. Okay, so automatically it will execute whatever result is there, that result will be stored in result set. So then you can display it or you can perform some operation in front end. Okay, this is with respect to Java language. So here what we are doing is just calling it. So preparing the statement in front end Java language, prepare it, then execute it. So when we are running this one, that time only it will call it. So that time whatever instructions we written here, those will be executed. So and parameter will be passed, whatever parameter you given here, those parameter will be passed. So for this one here, okay, some people whenever initially they proposed this one, so that time they did as a create procedure, and some people are given this one as a create function only. Okay, there are 2 things came. Okay, some people preferred as a procedure, some people preferred as a function. Okay, so what is the difference between procedure and function is procedures will never give the return value. Okay, it may be a successful execution or failure or any result you have to give it particular something. Okay, so those kind of things will never be given by the procedure. Okay, but functions always it has to return something. Okay, there is a by default it has to return, it may be successful execution or not, or any other status you want to give it. Okay, so maybe that time 0 means 1, 0 means something, 1 means something, 2 means something. anything maybe. So the function always it has to return something. So normally theoretical concepts whenever we say it, so that time procedures will call it, because we are not bothered about return values. Okay, but with respect to programming language, whenever you are preferred, okay, that time normally we'll call it as a functions only. Okay, because in programming language you will be normally getting the return values also. Okay, so that time it will come as a functions. So to overcome this kind of confusions on all those things, so one standard proposed. Okay, so after some time one standard came, that is a SQL slash PSM. This is a one kind of standard. They help us to declare the given for both. They consider as a both as a standards, that is a procedure also, functions also. So however you want to define it, but they given as a particular standard. So how you want to define it? It's almost same whatever we studied. Okay, so here they propose this as standard for a procedure and function. So that time here first one is nothing but here create procedure, name is there, and again here parameter list. Okay, so here we show it as an argument, and they given as a particularly as a, here we show it as an argument. Okay, so they given as a something as a parameter 1, parameter 2, like that differentiated. Okay, then here they allowed us to give the actual first variable names. Okay, so all variables that you have to declare it, then actually your procedure code you have to write it. Okay, so in the same way for a functions, so instead of procedure you can keyword will be there as a function, but after immediately of this all the argument and close bracket, you have to give the what is the return type. Okay, so returns you have to give this is a keyword. Okay, then actually what is the data type you are sending it. Okay, so whatever variable name you can give it, it's left to you. Inside a code you will write it. Okay, so here but you have to give the what is the data type it's sending it. Okay, it may be a boolean one or date or anything whatever you want to send it. So that data type you have to give it. So SQL data type only. Okay, so it's not with respect to front end data type, because front end in Java you will be having the different data types, and in SQL you will be having the different data types. So always here return type is with respect to SQL only. Okay, so whatever we should with respect to SQL, those data types only you can give it. Okay, then here you have to mention the all the local variables. Then actually your code you have to write it. So in while writing the code, in the end you have to give the end, or maybe depending on some conditions, if you have some errors, so you can give the return values. Okay, it's like normal C programming, whatever you use it, like that you have to write the code and you have to give the return. So this return type, whatever is there corresponding to that variable, you have to return. So here, okay, so again they added something additional thing is, so when stored procedure came, only this much was there. There is nothing but writing the some queries, SQL queries was there. Okay, so whenever this standard came, SQL PSM standard came, so that time they added as a conditions also. Okay, so if conditions and looping thing. So for if conditions, how they added is here, if then condition is there. So then these are the whatever capital letter we written, these are the keywords. Okay, so if, then you have to give the condition, then you have to write it, then after that you have to write the actual statement, so whatever you want to do it. Okay, so else if, then statement, so like that you can write n number of else ifs, then else statements you can write it, then in the end you have to write as a end if. Okay, so this is nothing but if you started here, and if you have to, you are completing this one. Okay, so this is nothing but one a branch condition you are writing it here. Okay, so for looping, so you don't have any keywords, you have keyword as a loop only. So loop, then statements, this is a end loop, so automatically it will continue depending on the situation. Okay, so these things in detail, that is if condition and loop, these we'll see in lab. Okay, so I'm not taking any examples for these things now here. Okay, so in lab automatically you have the database already inserted the values, and then we can write the stored procedures, and we'll see the example for there only. Any doubts still now? Stored procedure related, any doubts? Shall I revise any part? No.